Welcome to an episode of Leaders in Construction, where we interview leaders of US and Canadian construction companies to discover the blueprint to their success. Today's guest is Dennis Odisho, the director at Manhattan Construction in Tampa, Florida. If you're a construction professional looking to grow your career, you're not going to want to miss this. So sit back, relax, and take some notes. Dennis, welcome to Leaders in Construction. I'm very excited to be speaking with you again today. How you doing?
Simon, I'm doing fantastic, and I always appreciate talking with you. So let's get into it, my friend.
Amazing. So, from a laborer in the field to a successful executive of a national construction management firm, what has been the catalyst to your success and reaching the position you're in right now?
Honestly, it's simply the passion that I have for the business. You know, the diversity of the people, the projects, the places in which we work. No days are alike. The challenges are always different, and I really enjoy, using the team method and by committee essentially to solve problems, to hire new individuals. And being a former athlete myself, as a young adult and a college kid, you know I consider myself a corporate athlete. So every morning at 5 a.m. when I'm lacing up and getting ready to go to the gym and get that out of the way and get to work, I think it's just that type of atmosphere that this industry provides that really drives me, man. I mean, it's like being in the greatest locker room you've ever been in after winning one of the toughest games you've ever had to play. And that feeling is literally, it's just, you can't replace it. And I feel the passion for what I do. And it's just driven me, like you said, from a union laborer in Chicago at the age of 18, cleaning out slag in the blast furnaces at US Steel, to building highways, roads, and bridges, from taking 6 years to graduate from Purdue. It all cultivated into where I am today. It's just a self-made story. I enjoy telling it, and it's a path that anyone can take. I'm not a Mensa candidate by any stretch of the imagination, but I do have passion. I love what I do. I love who I do it with, and I'm going to do it for at least the next 20 years.
And you talk about environment of the industry, and your position must be extremely demanding, and you must have to make some really tough decisions. And I'd love to know a little bit about your sort of decision-making process, like your game plan around that.
Yeah, a lot of times we're stuck in conditions where we're on a project. Obviously, you have your budget, you have your schedule. Anything beyond that could ultimately turn into liquidated damages that are, upwards of tens of thousands of dollars, which we always need to avoid. So there are instances where you literally have 24 to 48 hours to make decisions that are worth potentially millions of dollars and could affect, the completion date. I like to rely on my subject matter experts. I've carried the same 3 to 5 subcontractors in each division for the last 20 years. Those relationships are extremely important to me because none of us can do it alone. And I do things by committee. I want to hear all sides of the story. I want to digest it, review it, talk about it until we can come up with a conclusion that benefits everyone involved, not just the owner and the construction manager, but all of our trade partners as well.
Mm.
I mean, these are people, without them, we can't make it. The relationship aspect of this business is so important to what we do and our long-term success. And I'm guided by the golden rule.
And construction is such a rough industry, I feel, in some aspects. So, given it's a field of sort of competing motives, and even the next generation that sort of easily loses that drive and that focus, how do you keep people motivated and focused and propelled towards that shared goal of either project or even operational success?
It's engagement. I grew up working for baby boomers who demanded you be in your seat at 7 and you could not leave until 5 p.m. Well, the world has changed, and the management type experience needs to change as well with it. I'm Generation X at 45 years old, the latchkey kid kind of generation where our parents worked. We were very independent thinkers. But we wanted something different. And that's why my management style is completely different than what you see from individuals who are 20 to 30 years older than me. And this younger generation wants to know that you care about them. They want to know that you know their children's names and their pets' names, and that you've spent time with them on a personal level, because they need that skin in the game, and I simply can't blame them. Plus, you got to provide an atmosphere for them to thrive. You can't have a sterile environment for them when they go to work. You have to encourage them to get out of their cubicle or shell or office, and just mix it up with the fellow employees. Again, it's that team atmosphere that really it forces people to come out of their shell, because when they know you care for them and then you're going to have their back when it hits the fan, it goes a long way. And a lot of the old school management techniques simply don't work. They don't motivate anybody anymore. And what you see with these Gen Ys, Gen Zs, and millennials is they run in packs. Money isn't the main motivating issue for these individuals no longer. They want to know that they're valued. And if you piss one of them off, you're probably going to lose a few more than one, right? And I completely understand that. I'm the same way. I want to feel valued as well. I want people to know me outside of work, and find out what makes me tick. And it's the same way with me. People to me are undiscovered countries. I just love digging into seeing what makes them tick. I'm fascinated with people. Fascinated. That's another reason I love this business, because even when you go on the job site, all these different trades, the mechanical trades, the iron workers, the painters, the electricians, they all have their own different personality characteristics with how they communicate with us, each other, and the other trades on the job. And it's incredible to watch. It's its own little ecosystem on these projects, and it's up to us as the construction management firm to provide them opportunities and atmosphere to be successful.
Even perfect people make mistakes. So what's something that you've learned from that perhaps even made a positive shift in your trajectory in your career?
Hmm. I mean, there's a lot of technical items. I remember one time earlier in my career, I had a sub proceed without an officially executed contract, right? And
Mm.
definitely not something that we encourage or we promote. It's something that, when you get them on the site, you need all of the contract documents executed. So it's protection legally for both parties. Luckily, it was just a landscaping contract. My employer at the time did come down hard on me, and I did learn a very valuable lesson, because they taught me what the recourse from my actions would have been should something have gone wrong. Um,
What is some advice you wish you heard at the start of your career in construction?
to not take everything so personally. I have been guilty of making my profession my entire life. If I didn't get the buyout I wanted on a job, or if I couldn't work out an issue, I took it really personally, because it meant a lot to me. But as I've aged and I've gotten more experience, I've learned that there are certain things that are simply out of my control. And you know, learning from those past experiences, those lessons have really helped me guide myself and my crew into situations where we're battle tested. We have the answers. We've been there before, and we've done this, and we can handle it. And when we come across an item or an issue that is new to us, we circle the wagons. It's none of this. It's this. Let's come together. Let's talk about it. And there are issues where my teams will have furious debates with some of my subcontractors, and ultimately that makes me the mediator. So I will come in, I will hear my team's side of the story, the subcontractor's side of the story. They're bringing up the drawings, they're bringing up the specifications, they're showing me text messages, they're showing me emails of the communication, and ultimately I want what's best for everybody. We are not sub busters in this business. We are partners, real partners. And I have not confronted an issue in 27 years that I haven't been able to figure out when we've had input with the entire team. So it's not just one person. It never is. It never will be. It's that team mentality that drives the success of this industry. There are so many players on these projects, 20 to 30 different trades, hundreds of men and women, and they all have to work together in a confined space. It's tough. It can be done. Like I said, you just have to be extremely open minded, intuitive, and a very good listener.
Yeah, I love that. That's an amazing mantra. And you threw in that industry verbiage of confined space because yes, confined spaces on site, but also confined spaces of a site trailer, heated discussions that you call debates, and that's an amazing way of making it lighter because it's not an argument. At the end of the day, you're friends at the end and making it personal while not taking it personally. So it's kind of like a double-edged sword, do you feel?
It is, but I'm one of the people who I need skin in the game as well, right? I I work with people that I have personal relationships with. I need to understand that we both respect each other mutually, that we have common interests, that we understand that at times we're going to disagree, but we're going to have to figure it out and come to a conclusion. But for me personally, that skin, that type of relationship where I get to spend time away from work with clients, subcontractors, employees, coworkers, is where you really get to know somebody. And I think it's important because if you don't know what makes somebody tick and what motivates them and why they're working, it's really difficult to give them the tools that they need to be successful. I mean, everything needs to be measurable. There have to be achievable goals as well, and it all has to be laid out. They have the right to that. As an employer, we have an obligation to them to provide that to them for their career.
Yeah, I love that. Well, Dennis, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on Leaders in Construction. I love your style and approach, highlighting your personal core values, which have attributed to your major success. Not only do we have an amazing opportunity to learn your mindset and what propelled you to your success, but also dig a little deeper into what Dennis is about.
I appreciate it, brother. You keep up the good work. Keep hustling.
Absolutely. Thank you for tuning in to this episode of Leaders in Construction. If you're enjoying this, don't forget to hit follow, like, and subscribe, and have a wonderful day.